Hey everybody. So I felt that the best way to start off this look at Warband would be to start with that age-old question, that really tough question that all gamers must face when they're picking up a new miniatures game, and that's which army to choose. So I'm going to give you a little insight into what is available by Pendragon for this game, and then we can go from there. So once again, this is Stephen Hardy's Warband rules, published by Pendragon Miniatures, and interestingly, they have a range of 10mm figures that are perfect for this game. Now, there are 12 armies in the book here. 8 of them have been produced by Pendragon in the new format for the game, but the other ones will be coming at some point. So let's just quickly take a look at who is in the book, and then we'll take a look at what is available miniatures-wise. So they're the Barbarian Men, the Dark Elves, the Dragon Men, Eldritch Vampires, Goblins and Orcs, High Elves, Hill Dwarves, Lizardmen, Samurai Apes, Taurians, Undead, and Wood Elves. So 12 armies, and you could use other miniatures for this if you've got them. You can do this in a different scale if you find the appropriate miniatures, and like any game, you can always tweak here and there. I'm pretty sure Stephen Hardy would not be upset, and I'm sure Pendragon wouldn't mind either. But the rules are meant for 10mm, based in a certain way. So this is what the army roster sheet looks like in the book. There are 2 pages. This is one of them. I'll get to these later on when I'm showing you how the game works. But generally, each race has a little write-up about them, has all the stats and point costs for all the available units, and most of the units, if not all of them, are available to buy from Pendragon. And I'll show you what the website looks like. But pretty much you can get all of these units from the models available. And then you also have the options for changing points and like equipment or abilities usually. Then there's also spells and a little write-up on the other page. So this is Pendragon's main page. This is where you start off, and if you look on the left, you can see it says Warband Fantasy New. That's where you click to get to the Warband splash page, which is coming up. That's what this looks like. And then you can see up in the top middle there, clicking any of those links will get you to the army section itself. So we've got the goblins here, and you can see the different painted examples of what you can buy. And then the army pack. Here are the dwarves, same thing. And the army pack is the starter army. Depending on which faction you choose, it's a certain amount of points in the like 300s or so range. So pretty much most of what you need for a good game. Here you go, the barbarians. And so not everyone has painted examples. Here are the undead. It's a long list here. They've got a number of units. And there's other ones that aren't even made yet or available yet, but yeah, big army there. The Taurians, centaurs and minotaurs and rhinos and stuff. Pretty cool. These are the wood elves. And they've got high elves as well. There you go. So anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what a Lizardman starter pack looks like. It's a little different from some of the other ones. Here, the Lizardman. It's a little different, but it's pretty much, we'll show you what you're going to get. I'll show you the bases, and we'll talk about basing and how many figures per base and all that stuff. And I'll also tell you about what I do. It's a little different from the standard of the game, but it does work as well. So let's just go take a look at what you get in a starter war pack.
All right, so here is that war pack. This is the Lizardmen war pack, Lizardmen starter army, and you get it in this container. It's 30 pounds or so in cost, not in weight, but it is pretty heavy. So you get this little card that just tells you what you get inside. This starter is a little different from the other ones. The makeup is not the norm. There are out of the 8 armies, I think there are 2 or 3 that are different, but the rest are all very similar, which I'll show you from the dwarves. But in this one, you'll get 2 units of lizard warriors, and then 1 each of lizard hunters, raptor riders, newtmen warriors, newtmen hunters, command shamans, and that comes up to around 350 points. And you also get these 8 MDF bases. Now these are the bases. Okay, these are the bases that are standard for the game, 100 by 50 millimeters. I went a different route, and I'll explain that after I go through the contents, but this is what it comes with, and they're nice, they're big, right? Like, that's my hand. I don't have a small hand. they're 100 by 50. That's pretty good. Anyway, I'll get to that in a sec. Let's see what's inside. So, got the little foamy thing. Yeah, you get these bags like this that have Newtmen. Oh no, these are Lizard Hunters, so the ranged guys. Here are Newtmen Hunters, so the ranged Newtmen. They're kind of like the Skinks versus the Saurus Warriors. Raptor Riders, so these are your cavalry. And I think every faction has cavalry, pretty sure. These are the wizards, the what are they called here? Shamans. And there's 4 guys, and then like a stone of some sort, some kind of magical thing. Here are the Newtmen. Oh, no, these are ranged guys. So these are the Newtmen Hunters. Yeah, these are the Newtmen Hunters. These are the ranged Newtmen. Skinks with blowpipes and javelins, that kind of thing. Here is the command unit, 5 guys. And then 2 sets of Lizard Warriors, so 2 units of melee guys. I'm not gonna show them right now. I will have another video, maybe on the models, maybe the hobbying video that's coming up. But they're good sculpts, and almost all the sculpts that I've gotten from Pendragon are really good. Some of the older sculpts, like the older dwarf wizards, were kind of meh, but generally they're really good sculpts, especially all the new stuff. New stuff is all really, really good. So lots of variety in there, and I'll show you with the dwarves what kind of variety you get. But yeah, nice big bag. So anyway, so these are the bases that you get standard, and this is what they suggest you use. Now what I did was I went with 60 by 30 instead of 100 by 50, and the main reason was because I don't have a big 6x4 table, so I won't be able to play a full game at home with this unless I buy that big table, or I make my own table. It's not going to happen anytime soon. I have a 3x3 table that extends to about 5x3, which is great, but I don't, I want something small, and I like the small scale thing, so I went with these 60 by 30 bases. I can play this game comfortably on a 3x3 table. Even a 3x2 table is not so bad, but a 3x3 table is nice and comfortable. 4x4, even better. So I went with this. The bonus is that you can actually get multiple units out of one bag, and it's very cost effective. So one bag, a normal bag, comes with say the foot infantry, yeah, thanks dude. Instead of cavalry, the foot units, there are 25 in a bag generally, okay? 25. Now, they're all supposed to fit on this one big base, and they look very crammed and very full. They're not crammed in a bad way, but full. If you see the pictures of the completed units, they look really, really cool when they're all on the base. And you could have less than 25, I guess. You could do fewer, and you might want to, and I'll explain that in a second. But they it's a nice big full army base. What I do is I put 8 to 10 instead. So for the dwarves, let's say, who had 8 guys per, and I'll show you one of those here. So 8 figures per unit. So that means I could get 3 units out of one bag, which means that in the starter where I got 3 bags of infantry, I have a lot left over. And even the goblins, the orcs and goblins, where I used 10 per base, even those guys I had a lot of extra. So I have a lot of extra dwarves. If anyone wants them, let me know. Yeah, so I think that works out okay. I like the way this looks. And I you know what, when they're all, I'll show you right now. When they're all together on the table, I think they look really good. They look really good on the big base, and I don't discourage anyone from doing it the proper standard way. But for me, having a smaller table, it really worked. And then it made sense in terms of cost, where I could actually get multiple units out of the same bag. So even, say, this artillery piece, it actually comes with 4 artillery pieces in the bag, which gave me 2 bases because I put 2 per, which I love. I think it was fantastic. It turned out really well. So, cost effective, works. And this game is already cost effective. For £30, you get a starter army. A few more extra bits, and you have more, right? Like, you get a couple specials, maybe more core if you want, and you're good to go. Oh, something I was saying about maybe not using everyone in your in the bag on one of the bases. The general unit, or the command unit, and the shaman unit, they only come with 5 figures. And on this giant base, 5 figures isn't really a lot. You know, you can fill it with some extra bits, and what I did was I actually scoured the Pendragon site and spent like probably a good hour looking at all the different models and minis that you could get and all the extra bits. And I got an altar, I got a wizard's table, and it came with a few of them. I got a few other things that I haven't even used yet, just to fill in the base. So it turns out that I just needed 4 guides and a few pieces, a few extra bits, and I had a good shaman unit. The king here, I had to buy the king separate, and you can do that on. You just search for the old hill dwarves. I believe it's the hill dwarves on the Pendragon site, and you can get him. He actually comes with some guys carrying him, but I just put him on the ground. So yeah, you might want to just look at other things that you could go for. Anyway, so not using all your figures on the main base, you can actually supplement your command base like this one. The command base had 5 guys. I got the king. I also got this rock dude. It's a boulder elemental. I also put a wizard, and this is one of the old wizards. And then a regular infantry guy. And I think this might even be a regular infantry guy, because I used the other command models, other than the musician and the standard bearer, I used them on another base as an elite unit. So you definitely want to mix and match, and you definitely want to see what comes in the different bags. You know, if you're buying a starter, maybe look at some other bits to go further, plan out your army. But you know what? Just buying a starter or 2, you know, if you want to have 2 opposing armies, if you have no one else nearby that will play, definitely put those 2 together. So small bases, big bases, however you do it, it's fantastic. And again, this is the standard, and I totally recommend it if you have the space for it. But if you don't, 60 by 30 works. You could also do 80 by 40. I don't know if you shouldn't go smaller than 60 by 30, but I really like this size, and it looks really good on the table, and it plays really well. Show the orcs, okay? One last thing. This is the starter army for the dwarves. This is what it looks like. So you've got a command unit with extras, a shaman unit with extras, and then you've got 1 cavalry unit. These are noble riders. Yes, they're riding ponies. You also get a ranged unit, and now this is only 8 guys out of the 25 that came in. So I have a whole bunch of other ranged dudes that weren't used. You get an artillery piece, and some every faction, well, not every faction, but most factions do have an artillery piece as either a catapult or cannons or whatever, or bolt throwers, depending on who they are. And then we've got 3 units of warriors. Okay, so you've got a couple specials, some command, and then the core. And yeah, you get 8 units in the starter. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Again, a little different from the lizards, but generally they look like this. Sometimes they look a little different. Anyway, that's a long way of saying this is how you might want to choose an army, and this is what it looks like based. Sorry I can't show you what a full base looks like, but you know what? I'll get a picture online, and or a couple pictures, and I'll throw them at the end of this video. I know a few sources of some great units, so I'll put that up at the end of the video so you can check that out. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this is a good introduction to the Warband and the basing and how units look. But look for more soon. I'm going to have the how to play videos with all the mechanics and all that great stuff, as well as battle reports coming up. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned and go check out Pendragon Miniatures. Great site with some great models. Thanks. See ya.